How to paint a room to make it bigger. Wondering how you could use dimensional color combination style to paint a room with the goal of making it look bigger? Listen, there is no secret that every little bit of painting or home upgrades that could help bump up the value of our home must be explored, and painting your house in a certain way can help make the house look bigger. How to paint a room to make it bigger. Like everything else, painting interior walls have its own pros and cons, and if you are thinking about painting your living room areas, tips and tricks relating to painting interior was I'm sharing here, shows you how to paint a wall, and what tools you should be using. I have always loved giving interior walls a lick of paint, as the painting of a wall can completely transform a room from dull to yeah. But before we get started, what tools would you need to paint an interior wall? Well, if you are painting interior walls, safety and care are always on top of the list, and in order to do a good job of painting your interior wall, here's what we need for the job. 1. Furniture protective sheet. 2. A clean set of paintbrushes. 3. Paint rollers. 4. Supply of choice of paint. 5. Tray decorators. 6. Tape bitter. 7. Stepladder. 8. Paint scraper. 9. Stay block, which is optional. 10. Sugar soap, also optional. For a start, we are going to need clearing of the room from any of furniture that can easily be moved out of the way, and cover anything you can't remove with a dosed sheet. But also make sure to place a painting dish sheet on the floor and any other surfaces where the paint is most likely to splash on. While most areas that need painting may look like easy to reach, for best results, always use decorator's tape to mask off all the edges of light fittings and skirting boards to protect them from getting splashed. How to paint a room to make it bigger. And, if you are painting period or family homes with children, the likelihood of needing to do a quick wash of the walls with sugar soap and rinse off with water and a sponge is crucial. This will help to give a smoother finish to your interior wall painting, leaving your house paint jobs above the expectations of your clients. In the event that you need to fill any cracks or holes in the walls, make sure that you are only using the most suitable filler. Give your crack filler a chance to dry off before sanding down until smooth, then move on to paint the walls. Now, I also know that you can't wait to get started with painting your walls, but before we go ahead and paint the wall, take some time to inspect areas of the walls that will require multiple coats to paint over old stains of crayons or any wall writings. If there are any areas spotted with stains, make sure to put stain block over the crayon, so you do not end up putting 5 or 6 coats of paints on the interior walls you are painting. The trouble with painting too many coats of paints in an attempt to cover up wall stains is that the paint begins to bleed and show the emulsion, so to stop that from happening, use a suitable wall stain remover. When painting or decorating your house, always remember both masks and goggles, as paint can sometimes have a strong sense of smell and fumes, which you must always try to avoid breathing in as much as possible. Every time you are painting a newly plastered wall, apply some white emulsion first, as this would soak into the wall before applying the colored paint. When ready, using a brush, start painting by coating in the edges of all walls in the room. This means painting where the wall meets the ceiling down the corners, then the skirting boards and around the light fittings. Start at the top and work your way down when you've cut, and using a ruler to paint the main surface of the wall. A good tip is to always begin in one far end of the corner, running your paintbrush strokes not top to down across the room, rather rule from the bottom up, and always aim for smooth steady strokes, making sure that your ruler is well covered and evenly painted. Never tackle multiple walls in tandem, instead always paint one wall at a time and work your way around the room. If your paint job needs multiple coats of paint, leave the paint to dry overnight and apply the second coat if necessary when the paint is completely dry. When removing strips of decorator's tip, always take off the strips slowly to avoid chipping the paint, and that is really how you paint an interior wall, and I think if you do the wall just, then you will agree that following these simple steps can completely transform the room.